Hey guys, hope life is treating you well because it is what it is. However we put it, it is what it is. Just sharing a few thoughts. This morning, a stumble, but this morning I was actually watching this Christian program. Kind of remind you of what was the one that used to come on with Jan and all the different guests. It reminded me of that. And it was a pastor and his wife, and they were talking to Sarah Huckabee. And they were talking about how we have to make sure that we keep our same president to maintain our values. And I just really wanted to find out, this is a general question, if anyone joins this live and you have comments, please share them. Because having reached 50, or I could have even been in my 40s, I just remember being taught to love. That's what I remember being taught. I remember that was the golden rule, that there was literally one solid commandment that we are given in God's word, and that is to love. It's outright a commandment. So how do we take that commandment to love and promote someone who encourages hate, fear, bullying, literally everything that's the opposite of love, and we put the word value on that and we say that's valued? I don't understand. And so maybe someone who's watching this can shed light on that. And me, born and raised in church, Christian to the core, you ain't gonna be the one that's gonna convince me that I don't love Jesus and I am not a child of God. So to be that person, and all I've ever learned is how to love. So how are you going to tell me that that's not the value of God when that's what he's told us in his word is the value? Again, just something I was thinking about. I haven't figured out the answer. I've heard people get upset saying, if you vote blue, they're going to promote the LGBTQ plus agenda. They're going to promote abortions. And I think of all these things that they're there already. They exist already. There's nothing to promote. It's there. It's a part of our lives. So what is there to promote? Are we just saying that we're using this as a guise to bring back civil rights issues or pre-civil rights issues? Because it seems like everything that you guys are calling values are everything that justifies slavery. They made slavery okay. Some of those Christians were the masters. So I go into my black brothers and sisters. How do you make it okay to vote for someone who literally hates us? Just hates us, won't support anything about us? I don't care how you paint that horse. They don't like us. So how can you endorse that? You may as well endorse massa. And that's the truth. But then again, I guess there were always the house slaves and always the field slaves. The house slaves thinking they would eventually be loved by master. But guess what? It's not going to happen, because we'll always be the field slaves to people like that. So look into your heart and ask, how can you support and endorse anybody or anything that only thrives on hate and lies? I think it's time for self-introspection when we can justify that that's okay. It's truly time to look into our own hearts and figure out our lives. Forget what happens after the election, because what's going to happen is what's going to happen. It just is. And we'll navigate and we'll adjust. But in the meantime, we got to live with ourselves. And as we're living with ourselves, trying to justify the reason why we supported outright madness. We supported someone who literally rips families apart. Saw no problem with it. Still sees no problem with it. But that's a value? Supports the fact you can run people off the road, and bullying at an all-time high. And this, we're telling our children, this is okay. That's what we're telling our children. This is fine. This is acceptable behavior. All because we don't want to promote the LGBTQ agenda, and we don't want to promote abortions. You've picked two things and have made them your number one priority in the face of hundreds of things that will literally end our lives. Again, you're not going to convince anybody, because we're going to believe we want to believe. You're not going to convince me. I'm not going to convince someone else. But this is that time. Look in your heart and ask yourself, what makes that okay? That's all I want to know. What makes it okay? When you get that answer, you don't have to come back and answer me. You go talk to God about that and see what he says. Especially when we're supposed to what? Love. That's it. Love your brothers. You will love yourself. The one commandment. All right. Thanks for joining. Just something that was on my mind. Some thoughts amidst all the rhetoric and all the fear that people are spreading and everything else that's happening. I just really want to know what happened to that wonderful 4-letter word that helps us get through life. Actually makes life better. A little love goes a long way. Good night, everybody.